Welcome to Injury Prevention Friday. Today I want to talk to you about add the last 2 weeks of my injury prevention videos and combine them into one story. And I'm going to use an example of a recent runner to walk you through it. So if you remember, 2 weeks ago I talked about using different shoes to create variety in your running. You can run on different surfaces, and that does a good job of putting variety into your running, but you can also use different shoes in the same way. And it's an important thing to do to put variety into your running. And then last week I talked about running in worn out shoes and how prevalent it is out there with runners. When I say prevalent, I say it's the biggest epidemic in running injuries I see. It's more than people doing too much too soon. It's more than people being stupid with their running. Although maybe running in worn out shoes falls into that thing, but it is an epidemic, running in worn out shoes, and it has been the same epidemic for 30 years. Most importantly, as I mentioned, it happens with people who are running less than with people who are running more. The more you run, the more in tune you are with your body, the more in tune you are with how your body feels. And when it doesn't feel good, you should look at your shoes. Someone who's running less gets into the rhythm of feeling poorly and thinks, well, it's because I'm not running enough. If I would run more, I'd probably feel better, but I'm just not going to run more. This is just what I have to accept as running. And that's just not the case. Running in worn out shoes is not good for you. And it is a leading cause of injury. So today we're going to use a runner who is a college runner getting ready for his cross-country season. I can't give you his name or what school he goes to because I think the NCAA would say that's a conflict. So no names will be used. Okay, our college runner, give you some stats. He's about 5'8", 130 pounds. He does all of his running at 7 minutes per mile or faster. Currently, he's running 80 miles a week, and he's working his way up to 95 miles a week by the end of the summer. We got into a discussion. I got really geeky about his running, so I learned about everything he does, what every single run is, when he does double runs, what he does after the run, what he does before the run, and I'll probably use that in the future of this injury prevention piece, because everything he does is geared towards injury prevention. But we started talking about shoes, and without asking him, he said, yeah, I've got 2 shoes that I just retired, and I have 2 brand new ones that I'm running in right now. And so I asked him, why did you retire your shoes? He said, well, they started to feel flat, and and I just felt like I needed to switch to newer shoes so I wouldn't get injured. I asked him, what kind of mileage did you have on those shoes? He retired his 2 shoes. The first one had 360 miles on it, and the second one had 340 miles on it. And he knew, based on how he felt, that it was time to change his shoes. And that's why I don't worry about runners that run long distances, like 80 to 90 miles a week kind of distances. They are so in tune with their bodies. They know instantly when something feels out of sorts. And specifically when it's down at their feet or in the lower part of their body, they can instantly understand that the shoes are probably not working anymore. Where I worry is with runners that aren't running 90 miles a week. Specifically runners that are running 15 to 20 miles a week. For some reason, you get in your head that that's how running should feel. That when those shoes are worn out and they feel flat, you get into your head that's how running should feel. And that is so dangerous because that's where injuries happen, is when the shoes are dead and gone and flat. They're not providing the cushioning, the protection anymore. And so something else has to give. Something in your body has to give if the shoes aren't doing their job. And that's where you get injured. Our runner knows that protection is important to him. He runs in this shoe, the New Balance 860. Now, he developed his need for protection over years of actually getting injured, and he found the New Balance 860. It just so happens that he runs for a school that is sponsored by New Balance, so that works in his favor. He found this shoe as his protection. If he walked in and was looking for a pair of shoes, more than likely this is not the first shoe I'd bring out for him. Because, like, as I said, he's 5'8", 130 pounds. But because he found this shoe on his own and it's the one that works for him, who am I to tell him not to run in it? So let's tie the last 2 weeks together, using our runner as the example. First off, use different shoes to vary the running and different surfaces. Now, our runner, I know, uses the different surfaces all the time. He does his long runs on trails, he runs on the beach, he runs on the road, he does drills in grass, so he uses the terrain to his benefit. He also uses different shoes. Now, what he does is he uses 2 of the same shoe, which is good. It's not ideal, but it works for him. So again, who am I to argue with it? But having 2 of the same shoe at least gives you some variety, because no 2 shoes are exactly alike. So he gets some variety having the 2 shoes. It would be better if he had a different brand or a different shoe within New Balance that he could run in. But for now, that works for him. So that's from 2 weeks ago. Use different shoes. He does that. From last week, don't run in worn out shoes. I cannot stress that enough. It is an epidemic. Now remember, he's running in this shoe, which is viewed as a super durable shoe from New Balance. Super durable. And he's 130 pounds. And he's running really efficiently. And he got 340 miles out of one and 360 miles out of the other. Now, I would love to tell you, well, you should be able to get 340 miles and 360 miles out of a shoe because he can. But I don't know you, and I'm gonna bet that, nothing against you, that you're probably not as efficient as this guy. It's nothing against you. It's purely knowing who he is, how many miles he's running, how fast he runs, how injury-free he's been for 4 or 5 years now, that you're probably not as efficient as he is. And he's getting 340 and 360 miles. So last week I made a statement, and I'm sticking to that statement. you should replace your shoes every 300 miles. Don't go any further. Track it. When you buy your shoes, track every mile you run in them. And 300 miles, don't risk it. Go 300 miles and get a new pair of shoes. Running shoes are an investment in your running. If you view them as an investment in your running, buying a new pair at 300 miles is easy. If you view them as a cost, if you view them as an expense to your monthly expenses, then you're going to try to stretch this to 400 and 500 and 600 miles. And guess what? You're going to get injured. Treat it as an investment in your running so that you can run for a long time without injuries. Is this a guarantee that if you do this you won't get injured? No, because quite frankly we do stupid things as runners. Sometimes we just jump into a race untrained. But this is with worn out shoes being the leading cause of injury, this is probably a pretty good place to start in defending against injuries. Replace every 300 miles. Alright, if you like these videos, share them with your friends. Use the thumbs up buttons. If you got questions, I welcome your questions. Leave comments underneath. Send me an email. Put questions in and I will do my best to answer them. I hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend running. Talk to you next time.